Bangladesh is the second largest Muslim country of the world. Islam has direct influence upon the lifestyle of the people of this country. One must be struck with wonder to look at the geographic boundary of Bangladesh. On 3 of its sides is a nuclear-powered non-Muslim state and an ocean on 1. Many would wonder how this huge amount of Muslims had gathered in this green land of 144,000 square kilometers. Islam descended this delta named Bangladesh through a number of Arab merchants and saints. They put forward to the ordinary caste-ridden people of this country the egalitarian facet of Islam. With the passage of time, those preachers of Islam became a part of the people and the heart of this country. Islam in Bangladesh did not result from the battleground's conquests. It is rather premised on the tireless efforts and labor of a number of devoted preachers of Islam. Those preachers came to this country with the word of the Prophet in their bosom, "You reach my word to others." It is in fact the alims that had waged continual struggles to sustain Islam in this country. Those struggles were political at times, military at times, and at times cultural. Never did they flinch from their struggles. Never did they stoop to their opponents. Never did they retreat out of disappointment. In fact, the people of this country are highly free-spirited. When it came to the struggle for existence, they never compromised. They never acquiesced in dependence on others. It must be noted that 200 years of the British rule did force into a corner the Muslims of this subcontinent politically, but religiously and culturally they never conceded. Torture and persecution notwithstanding, they never forgot their identity and existence. Upon the departure of the British, the subcontinent was divided on the basis of religion. Pakistan became a Muslim state, but the rulers turned into the military junta of West Pakistan. East Pakistan, that is today's Bangladesh, fell a prey to deprivation and exploitation. There started the movement for autonomy. Ultimately, this movement led to the movement for freedom. People of all walks of life took part in this movement, but the leadership was left with the seculars. But it is true that this movement was against torture, persecution, and injustice. Bangladesh, that we see today, came into being in 1971. People dreamed of a change of their fate, but soon their dream turned into a nightmare. The politicians who used to speak in favor of the ordinary people of the country entirely changed once they were in power. They stepped on the stage in the robe of the exploiters. The whole of Bangladesh started to change. Poverty and frustration grasped the whole nation. The vain philosophy of socialism took a seat in the heads of the rulers of the post-liberation Bangladesh. They stood against Islam. The alims, ulemas, and the religious leaders became their targets. Without rhyme or reason, they were thrown into the dark cells of the prison. Whatever was necessary to trim off any religious education from the educational sectors was done. A massive anarchy set in the country. Economy collapsed. Millions of people died from the famine worst in the time immemorial. The educational institutes turned into the turfs of the terrorists of the student organizations of the autocrat. People with different views were indiscriminately shot to death. The word of the rulers became the law. But the fighting people of this country had never accepted any persecuting autocrat. It was not an exception this time as well. Within 4 years of the liberation, the autocratic ruler had a cruel fall. The people of the country heaved the sigh of relief. But this relief could not last long. There started a wrestle for power, coup and counter-coup. A blood-stained history ensued. The ordinary people of this country started to turn in the whirlpool of insecurity and uncertainty. At such an unstable time, there was the advent of Bangladesh Islami ChhatraShibir.
শপথের সঙ্গে হাতে নিয়ে সকলে নবীজির রাস্তা ধরেছি আমরা শিবির গড়েছি
The founding of Bangladesh Islami ChhatraShibir on 6th February 1977 has been a momentous event in the history of student movement. Ever since the liberation of Bangladesh, there had been no other student organization in this country to speak for the national ideals and for the religious faith of the majority. Islami ChhatraShibir holds a 5-point program. The objective of its first point is extending the dawah of Islam to the young students and thus awakening among the young students an urge to achieve Islamic knowledge and practice it in their personal life. In order to materialize this objective, Shibir makes a personal contact with the talented and industrious students with qualities of leadership and good character. Concerning them, Shibir organizes general meetings, seminars, symposia, welcome ceremonies, debates, and competitions of various sorts. In order to make a wide publicity of Islam among the ordinary students, Shibir undertakes to do postering, wall writing, publishing various booklets, including those with the introduction to the organization. Islami ChhatraShibir is an organization of the talented students. It maintains a close contact with the distinguished students. Every year, Shibir holds illustrious welcome ceremonies for the students who succeed in SSC and HSC exams. This program of Shibir has evoked an unforeseen response among the young students throughout the country. Islami ChhatraShibir happens to be the only student organization of Bangladesh that centrally holds such welcome ceremonies for the distinguished students of the country. Islami ChhatraShibir believes that no movement can be a success without concerted efforts. The second point of the program is organizing under the organization the students who are ready to participate in the struggle of establishing an Islamic lifestyle. In order to make the organization well-disciplined, dynamic and efficient, Islami ChhatraShibir has an organizational hierarchy. Through this hierarchy of supporters, workers, associates and members, the organization is given a smooth run. Islami ChhatraShibir is the only student organization of Bangladesh that thoroughly adheres to a democratic process with regard to the selection of its leaders.
সর্বোচ্চ সংখ্যক ভোট পেয়ে বাংলাদেশ ইসলামী ছাত্র শিবিরের কেন্দ্রীয় সভাপতি নির্বাচিত হয়েছেন ভাই মোহাম্মদ সেলিম।
The act of selecting the leaders is duly and efficiently done at every level of the organization. This process of selecting its leaders has elevated the status of the organization among the students and the people of this country, and at the same time increased its acceptability manifold. In order to bring an ideologist movement to the brink of success, by facing the opposition force, there is no alternative to the trained workers. Shibir considers it a duty to take active steps to provide the students organized under the organization with Islamic knowledge and build them up as workers with ideal characters so that they can prove the supremacy of Islam by facing all the challenges of Jahiliyyah. This is the third point of our permanent programs. To this end, Shibir holds in its store the programs of establishing libraries, reading and distributing Islamic literature, study circle, preservation of personal report, Quranic classes, etc. Shibir considers it of special significance to seek the knowledge of Islamic literature that would help face the challenges of the age. The issue of personal amendment, improvement, and development carries a special significance to Shibir. Shibir believes that if someone regularly looks into the journal of his or her personal works, he or she is sure to develop gradually. The fourth point of Islami ChhatraShibir is, in order to build up ideal citizens, continuation of its struggle to change the educational system based on Islamic values, and providing leadership in the struggle for the solutions to the problems of the students. Shibir undertakes to put forward to the students, teachers, and the intellectuals the answers relating to the definition and characteristics of an Islamic system of education, how it can be launched, and the defects of the existing system of education. Through this, Shibir has brought forward the significance and necessity of Islamic education. To this end, Shibir organizes seminars and symposia from time to time. Shibir has been playing a pioneering role in the movement for launching the Islamic system of education. In the movement for establishing an Islamic system of education, Shahid Abdul Malik has remained a beacon of inspiration for millions of youths of this country. Shibir observes 15th August, the day of Abdul Malik's martyrdom, as Islami Education Day. Shibir has stood by the student community in many of its crises and their solutions. Shibir has played a pioneering role in solving the problems of the students not only at the social level but also at the personal arena. To this end, Shibir offers programs like stipend, lending libraries, free coaching classes, and distribution of academic implements. Islamic revolution is never possible without the replacement of a dishonest leadership with an honest one. This is why Shibir actively takes part in the student council elections at colleges, madrasas, and universities. It has created among the ordinary students a positive impression surrounding the honest leadership of Shibir. Presently, Islami ChhatraShibir is an established name as an organized and well-disciplined organization in all the academic institutes of Bangladesh. The fifth point of Shibir's program is undertaking all-out efforts for implementing an Islamic revolution in order to emancipate the humanity from economic exploitation, political persecution, and cultural bondage. Shibir firmly believes that efficient leadership and well-disciplined team of workers alone can play the basic role in the development of a society.